Okay, I'm going to put the YouTube live stream in the chat. If someone would do me the favor of sending that to the college faculty staff list and also to the college meeting list, that would be awesome. I would most appreciate it. Okay, first order of business. Let's go ahead and look at the college meeting agenda. I'm going to say that we have a slightly, oh, actually, no, I'm not going to look at the agenda. I apologize. Let me go ahead and I have to share the minutes. My apologies. I'm a little flustered because I expect to be able to get into my computer today. And not getting into my computer has been a little bit of a downer, I'll tell you that. Okay, here we are. Can everyone see the minutes for May 3rd? Okay, awesome. So, yay, one accomplishment. Okay, we're done. Meeting is over. We've accomplished what we need to, right? All right. If somebody would please make a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Darren. We have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and have us approve the college meeting minutes. And I'd like to remind you that if you are a voting member, please vote. If you are a non-voting member, please do not vote. We will go over what those are shortly. All right, I'm going to end the poll. We have 58 out of 63 people voting yay, one person saying nay, and 4 people abstaining. So motion passes. We have accepted the minutes. The next thing I'd like to do is call for a motion to accept the reports.
So moved.
Okay, do I get a second?
Second.
Awesome, thank you so much. And so now I'd like to go ahead and put a poll up for that. Please vote to accept the committee reports in the poll. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. 62 out of 66 voted yes, no no's, and 4 abstentions. So the motion passes as well. Thank you, everyone. So now let me go ahead and move on to the rest of the agenda. And my apologies for the screen as it is viewed. The computer thinks that I am not an authorized Microsoft Word user. So you're going to see kind of a big blank area. Not really sure what to do about that. So just bear with me. So we have no old business, no new business. So I'm going to go straight into my report. And I just want to share that I recognize that summer has happened and we had a couple of committees that did not meet over the summer or did not meet since May. So for example, curriculum programs hasn't met. That's why there's no report. But I'm very pleased that the people who were able to submit reports did admit reports when they did. We had a very productive college steering meeting and I am very pleased that that went so well. I'm going to start recording so that minutes can be taken. And we had a very productive college steering committee meeting. We covered a lot of topics. One of the topics we covered was how important it is that we have a clear understanding of the difference between voting and non-voting members. And one of the things that came up was who is non-voting, who is voting. And traditionally, the way that those distinctions have been made is that voting members are full-time professional staff, full-time faculty, and full-time professional staff, and full-time administration. But people who are not considered voting would be adjunct or part-time. And that was raised as an issue. Why is that? And so we're going to look into that and discuss that as a committee. And we might come back to the larger body of the college meeting to make some recommendations about that. So stay tuned on that point. So the other thing I'd like to point is that we also discussed the college meeting listserv, which has been somewhat problematic for some folks to get. So if you haven't been receiving the college meeting listserv, there's two things I want to point out. The first is that you can look in your other folder. The college meeting listserv might be going to your other folder. So look there. You can actually drag it to the focused folder and make it so that anytime college meeting kind of communication comes, it goes to the focused folder. So that would be my first recommendation. We're going to look into seeing how we can make that an automated function, but at the moment it doesn't appear to be able to do that. The second point is that as people come and go at the college, we add people, people leave. So the lists aren't always 100% accurate. So if you think that you should be on a list and you are not, let me know. And you just go ahead and email me directly and say, hey, I'd like to be added to the list. And let me know which list you think you should be on. And then we'll do it that way. If you send an email out to the list, it will not automatically come back to you unless you enable that function. So don't be surprised if the email that you sent out doesn't come back. You need to enable that function. Finally, the other thing we need to do is look at, do an evaluation of college meeting and see how well college meeting is running. So we've gone back into the archives. Thank you so much, Sue Miller, for your very long institutional memory. And we have looked to see that we have done evaluations and surveys in the past in 2012 and 2013. And I'm going to reach out personally to everyone who has been a college meeting chair to get that any data or feedback they may have as well. And we as a committee, the steering committee, is going to work on coming up with a way that the body of the college can evaluate how well college meeting is working, which is particularly important given NISHI's 5-year evaluation that we're currently under getting prepared for. So that is my report. I may have forgotten something because I don't have access to my notes because I can't get into my computer. So I'm just going to call on Claudine if there's anything I missed that you think that we covered that would be important to share. Would you mind doing it for me? Just because I'm going by memory here.
That pretty much covered what we discussed in the steering committee meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. So having said that, the next item on our agenda is the report of the college president. So John, take it away.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm going to see if I can pull up a little slideshow here. A little maybe optimal. Let's see. There we go. Share. Get bigger. So I wanted to touch on a few things today. First off, Chris Clark is primed to give us an update on the COVID protocol, so he'll be on that in a few minutes. But as we get started with taking a sort of a broad overview of where we are at the start of the semester, as we get into the fall, we find that we're down about 8% in terms of enrollment for the semester. And if you look at that box over there on your lower right, it gives you sort of a flavor for where people, what courses people are choosing to sign up in. And you'll notice face-to-face is sort of in the middle, but when we consider the remote, the fully online, the hybrid, the high flex, the whole notion around virtual and online learning, we see that an overwhelming majority of the enrollments fall into this broad basket, if you will, as we move forward in navigating through the pandemic. As we look at where we are at this moment and knowing that we have the Q2 coming up in a few weeks that we can still build enrollment around, the emphasis now is to have enrollment management and marketing and IR working together in terms of looking at those folks who have actually gone to the effort of applying for admission, some actually doing their enrollment, finding out where they are in terms of actually getting them registered and in class. We're looking at those folks who have taken the quick terms in previous years, if we can re-engage them, as well as following up with the the new contacts that we've been generating through the advertising that we've been doing. In terms of numbers, we're down about 1,954 credits below where we were this time last year. So it's sort of a stretch, but it is possible that over the course of the next few weeks, we can really chip away at that and come back closer to where we need to be budgetarily. So that piece is in play as we move forward. I do want to remind you that the foundation does have the fall 21 celebration scheduled for September 30th. This is a great chance to come together, celebrate the work of the college and the foundation in supporting our institution. And why do we do this? Well, part of the reason why we do this is actually what's going on with the Frank and Maureen Wilkins Science and Engineering Center. We finally reached the stage with the construction going on that DCAM has reached out for us and asked for us to pay a portion of the funds that we've committed to this project to the tune of $8 million. And that transfer has already been put through, 5 million of which was raised through the foundation. As we move forward into FY23, there'll be another $5,000 request that will come from DCAM as we pay off the remaining portion of the project. Project is still on time, on schedule, and we're looking for fall 22 opening. The other piece that I would just like to, as I get off my share here, just mention is that the Board of Trustees will have a recommendation to hire Kathy Varenos as our Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs. So that'll be on the agenda tomorrow night. That's the quick update with week 2 of the semester. I hope everything's going well for everybody, and I would be more than happy to entertain questions or comments or thoughts and prayers.
All of the above.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, next up, we have the Vice President, Academic and Student Affairs, Stu Miller.
Just a couple of things. We had a really productive MACER meeting this morning with MCCC leadership. And I just want to assure everybody that per the collective bargaining agreement, faculty preferred schedules are not due until September 30th, although you may be having some conversations with your chairs, program coordinators, and deans about thinking about spring course preferences. And while you're doing that, we are looking to use some of SIP 3.0 COVID funding to enhance the number of classrooms that are HyFlex ready. And I know Tom is working with faculty and with Kathy Dean McCarran on, there are a number of other faculty in the pipeline who are interested in becoming trained in the HyFlex technology so that they can adapt courses. So that's pretty exciting. We're getting pretty good feedback, early feedback, anecdotal feedback that those on the remote side of the camera are enjoying that flexibility, and the folks who are in the classroom are enjoying being with people in real time again. So looking forward to that. And I will tell you that our FERPA guru, Sky Green, has been fielding some questions from faculty and students around recording of Zoom classes and the implications of that for FERPA protection of student confidentiality. And so we don't have any answers yet, so I'm not telling you to stop doing something you're doing, but wherever possible, what we are doing with Sky's help is looking at one policy in particular that has been adapted by UMass Amherst that helps faculty kind of triage what they're doing with recording to look for ways that are less likely to cause FERPA problems. So you will hear more about that with some more explicit guidance around that. But safe to say, we have students that have FERPA holds, and as they do have FERPA holds for whatever reasons, to protect their identity and their confidentiality, those students should have the opportunity, all our students need to have the opportunity to give permission. And the problem isn't always when it's contained within your VERPA classroom. We understand that there are students who are making copies themselves of what they're experiencing in their Zoom classrooms, and then they are using that beyond the classroom space. So stay tuned for more specific guidance on that. And that's about the end of my report.
Thank you, Sue Miller. And before we move on, and I'll introduce you in a second, Chris Clark, I just wanted to mention that we do have transcripts enabled. So if you look down at the bottom, it says a little live transcript. If that's distracting to you, it's very easy for everyone can turn that off on your feature if you're finding that distracting. But it's really important that we put that on there for accessibility reasons. So you can go ahead and click on the little bar next to live transcript and click hide subtitle, and it'll just hide the subtitle for you. So in case anybody's finding it distracting to either talk or listen while they're seeing the scroll, I just thought I'd mention that up front. So thank you. And moving on to the next report, which will be from the Vice President of Finance and Operations, Chris Clark.
Hello all, welcome to the new semester. Lisa, are you able to call that up, or are you having issues with your machine?
Yeah, I can't get into my email because I did not know we had to do the two-step authentication at the college. So I unfortunately cannot call up anything other than my brain.
If you want to share the screen, I'll be able to call up.
Yeah, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know I said I would share it for you.
So
Perfect.
I have two topics that I want to cover. I have a presentation on the second and third, but just for folks, the three topics I'm going to cover is kind of navigating COVID, do a little bit of a follow-up from what I did from opening day. Then second, to talk a little bit about a major project program that DCAM is offering. And then last is just a kind of a little bit of an update on food service. So first on COVID. You know, one of the things that I think is really important is just to kind of give people a little bit of a sense for, okay, I think I may have been exposed. What do I do now? And just give people a sense for that. So what I would strongly recommend that if you have an exposure or think you have an exposure, or you're not, you know, you're just concerned, you're more than welcome to contact me. My direct dial number here is 774-330-4303. So if you email me or contact me, we can kind of get the process started. But what I'm probably going to recommend after our conversation is that you would go in and complete the Maxient form that we have on the website. What the Maxient form does is it gives a lot of good information. It tells me who you are, who you may have come into contact with, how to contact you, and what happens once that form is submitted. And that really is just going to kind of start with me and be limited in its distribution to only those folks that need to know. So there's three things that will happen once I get that form and or after our conversation. It will be sent to the public health nurse in the town of Barnstable. The reason for that is that she's going to commence contact tracing. So the form also asks for who you came into contact with and what to, you know, the contact information for them. So the contact tracers, and the contact tracers by, I guess, state mandate is done by the local town board of health and the State Department of Public Health. So it's something that they engage in, and they'll take that form and they'll contact people. Depending upon how busy they are, they may contact you within 24 hours, and maybe 42 hours, 72 hours, depending upon how busy they are. they have been pretty responsive in my experience so far with them. The second thing that I'm going to do once we get that is once we know the area, Joe McKinnon is going to deploy and send his people in to do a deep cleaning and air purification. A lot of areas do have air purification already. We're going to try to continue and expand that into those areas where we had a test positive or a person that may have contracted it, and just run the air purifier for like a 24-hour period to kind of clean things. Once we have that information too, and we have a discussion, I'll alert HR and the dean, and you are welcome, depending upon your level of comfort, to let your dean know about just your availability. In most cases, when people are vaccinated, it's kind of more of a minor case, and they may be able to work from home or work remotely. So we want to do that. If someone has, heaven forbid, kind of a more serious case and they're hospitalized, we want to make sure HR is contacted so that way they can kind of reach out and just inform on any sick time benefits or that nature that we need. In terms of some of the guidance that I've received so far, the public health nurse has indicated to me that she strongly recommends that people get a PCR test, the more definitive test, to make sure that the diagnosis is correct. Once we get that more definitive test, then it's usually too, she indicated, about 3 to 5 days, maybe as early as 2, that you would actually have after the exposure, that they would be able to be tested and have the test come back with a reliable indicator. And then depending upon, so if you get a negative test and you were vaccinated or not vaccinated, you could probably return sooner. If you have a positive test, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, the recommendation is 10 to 14 days, but the key to that is symptom-free. So this is going to be a little bit, there's not going to be one size that fits all. The general guidance is 10 to 14 days, but I think the more important part of that is symptom-free. So we want to make sure that the symptom-free can occur. I do want to just kind of say, you know, I've been doing this all the time I've been here working on COVID. And the one thing that I have found, and I told the people involved that I would kind of share this story, that there was a case here on campus in which one individual tested positive, was working in kind of close proximity in the same office area. The coworker had mask on, made sure that they cleaned their hands and did those diligent things that we have in our protocol, and that person tested negative. So the protocols do work and can keep you safe. So I know, and I do this myself, you walk around campus and you see some people don't have their mask on, or they have it down over, you know, underneath their nose. If we can all just remind each other to keep people safe, you know, I just put my hand to my mask just to kind of remind people, you know, to put the mask on. So I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of an update. The testing services are available and the vaccinations are available through the hospital and through the county. I think we have those email addresses on the website, so we have those availability for you. And I'm happy to take questions at the end.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat. Rachel Bancroft is asking if testing will be available at the college and is it free?
It will be available through the county site and through the hospital. And I believe that one of the things I was thinking about, if you're a member of the staff, you have availability of health insurance. If you're a student, it's mandated you have health insurance. Health insurance, it's going to depend upon the provider. Some providers may offer it with the copay or require that you pay if you're not feeling ill and are just doing it because you're worried. Others may waive that and have it if you are feeling sick. So that is going to depend upon the provider that you go to. The two that we have on the site are the hospital and the county itself.
Are there
And
any other questions?
Okay, moving on. The next one, and this is hopefully a little bit more exciting. It is something that I learned a long time ago, that government takes a long time to do things. So this is a long time horizon, but we do have an opportunity here where we have a major project capital request program. This is done through DCAM, the state agency in which we fall under for property. And it is from 2023 to 2026. And they're requesting that all community colleges can submit a concept. It's a competitive process for proposals. The proposals can be between $3 million and $30 million. We do have a designer on board ready to help us with the application and the grant materials, and it is due in by December 24th. So the initial thought that we have, and we're kind of looking for feedback on, is that we have on the major project, the Life Fitness Center, to really look at converting that entire building into classroom space for EMT workforce training. I do have some diagrams that show, so I'll get into that. So the gym would be continue to be used as a gym. The mental health area would continue to be as it is now. So we're really talking about the lower level that really, in my opinion, is a little bit more underutilized. Some of the value of that, maximize the use of currently underutilized fitness center space, a destination location for a growing EMT program, frees up existing campus classroom space utilized by EMT program for a new use. So nursing is one area where we're expanding. So it may be advantageous for us to create some additional classroom space. Also, the second part is to provide some flexible shop space for classroom space for workforce development. So Tammy Jacobson could use part of that building to run some non-credit programs that may help the college overall. An opportunity to increase the outreach to the region with program offerings, and the opportunity to modify existing buildings to maximize available daylighting and functional layout. The one thing about the Life Fitness Center is we have several locker rooms and we don't really have sports teams. So that concept of having a large locker room presence for a school that no longer has sports teams really doesn't make a lot of sense. So how do we reuse that space? And then to also look at accessibility improvements to make all building levels accessible. Why did we kind of narrow it down to that? Well, the reality is anytime you have a grant program, they always put criteria on there. And so we have to pick a project that's going to match up with the criteria so we have a better chance of having funding given to us. In terms of that, we did apply in 2019 for Grossman Commons. So we did match this up just to see, here's the criteria that they're using now. The Grossman Commons was submitted in 2019. It was a good program, but it did not make the cut when it came to funding. So we're hoping that we can have a little bit of a stronger proposal. I'm not going to go through all these because I think people would rather see the slides of what does it at least initially look like. And we are very much in the preliminary planning stages. But the four main criteria: invest in repairing or renovating existing facilities while optimizing utilization and functionality. So to take Life Fitness building and make that more functional, I think has a real positive to it. Expand and deepen collaborations with other institutions outside public-private partners. We do use a gym now for a lot of outside activities. We also served as a vaccination center. So that was an area where we have been a good community partner. Number 3 is align investments with workforce skills cabinet regional blueprint of priorities and needs. This we looked at specifically the county of Barnstable and the county of Plymouth. And actually healthcare was one of the large areas that they have needs for. So based upon the data in those blueprints, the healthcare and EMT falls within that, is an area that we would score high on. And then lastly here is to develop a flexible, innovative, and accessible programs incorporating lessons learned about the future of work and learning into the long-term planning. So we think having a permanent home for workforce development and EMT probably does make some sense. So just to say what we're kind of thinking of, I have a diagram here that shows this is the lower level of the Life Fitness Center building. This I realize may be a little bit hard to see for folks. This area in blue is where we have the early college, the children's college. They have vacated. She did take a job somewhere else, so that space is now vacant as of probably about 2 or 3 days ago, as a matter of fact. So this would be workforce development. The reason for that is it would give easy access to the outside. So if there are programs that require small engine repair or require things of that nature, it would be good to have easy access to the outside. This other area is currently where the fitness center is and the racquetball court. This would be converted into classroom space and office space for EMT. And then this is currently a large locker room area that would also be converted into classroom space. This is also locker room area and this as well. So everything in green becomes classroom space. What we did want to do is we didn't want to eliminate fully all the exercise equipment. We still want to maintain and give people an opportunity to maintain physical fitness. So we're looking at 2 options to kind of do that. One, if you go and travel, you see a lot of hotels have decreased the sizes of their equipment room and their exercise area. So we're thinking the same thing, to keep a footprint on campus, but to have it be a little bit smaller. So this area in the front of the building would perform that. The second is we have the YMCA right across the street. So I think trying to have some relationships with the YMCA, see if we can do some kind of discounted membership does make some sense. They have a pool. I don't think a pool would be in our future, but a pool that they have may be something that we want to look at. So this gives you a little bit of a sense for how that lower level of the building would be modified. And then the last slide, and these were all done very recently, so very preliminary, is we had discussions on the early childhood education, and that we thought that the better approach, because little kids benefit from having the sunrise to sunset, to have a very high, open, bright area. So we were thinking about converting one of the tennis court areas into a modular building with its own outdoor playground area, take use of the existing play area, and try to do a modular setup here. So we would have the Life Fitness Center with the EMT and workforce development in here, and then the early childhood and the outdoor play area for that. So that's the concept. The reason for this, going down this path, is that we have done some work on this already, and it does comply with the requirements that DCAM is looking for. So we have the December 24th, and any comments, whether now or you want to submit in an email to me, we certainly want to tweak the proposal to make it as strong as we can, and certainly would appreciate feedback.
So Chris, there's been quite a few comments in the chat. I will be happy to email those to you at some point. But I will at the moment share just one at a time, and maybe you can respond to them. The first comment is, when the Life Fitness Center expanded, updated by student, so did the emphasis on using the space. Since Tracy Moran's departure, there has been less focus on using the Life Fitness Center, hence the lower numbers. Will the Life Fitness Center become obsolete at Four Cs?
Yeah, I think what we had was, we are planning on keeping that just in a different location, and keeping the same kind of footprint, just making a smaller footprint. So we're not going to eliminate it. We're just going to try to transform it. And this, by having it in this area, it will be an area where we have light coming into the building. So it will be a little bit nicer than the current area that it's located, but it will be a smaller footprint so we can accommodate classroom space. Okay,
the next comment is, we did try the YMCA membership earlier. Students found the cost prohibitive.
We'll re-engage with the YMCA and see what their level of appetite is. I think that I know from some of my conversations much earlier that their membership is down. They may be a little bit more open to having additional membership if we were able to subsidize it. So those are conversations that we'll have to reinitiate with YMCA.
The next comment is, sports are a major component of building community. Many students complain about our lack of community here, wishing we had sports and a bigger presence on weekends. I hope we don't completely move away from this potential.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I know President Cox had said to me, which I really am keeping in mind, is how do we kind of keep the fields, are there things we can do? There's a few things that we could do, just as a for instance, if we were to have a little track around one of the fields now, they have little exercise stations. This is very common in a lot of the towns. I was thinking about even you take one of the courts and maybe introduce pickleball. Pickleball is exceptionally popular in different locations. So I'm not looking at this as an opportunity to get rid of. I'm looking for an opportunity. How do we make it where we bring more people in and make it a more functional space?
Yeah, there's quite a few people who are echoing that sentiment. Not to mention a lot of students need to burn off some stress, and some people are saying that they hear the same from their students as what Tom wrote. Karen Christopher writes, will the food pantry still remain on the lower level?
That we're going to have to give some thought to. He didn't realize, the architect that was helping me with this didn't realize that area was a food pantry. So either we keep it here or relocate it to somewhere else on campus. So that question is yet to be determined, but we'll have to get to the answer to that.
Okay. And Christina Carey is reminding us that the food pantry is now open, so you can use the online form of My4Cs to get an appointment. Another question, is there a timeline for the YMCA membership availability?
Well, I think one of the things that it's going to be a while. If we get approved for this, you probably won't see construction start until 23. So that would be July 1 of 2022. And we'll have plenty of advance notice. So we will try to match up the membership with YMCA to when the building will be under renovations.
Next question, any thought about upgrading the Frank and Maureen Wilkins building? They are in an advanced state of disrepair.
We did not go through in great detail. I think one of the things we're trying to do is we realize that those buildings are under a lot of stress. They have had renovations in the basements and both the first floor with the dental unit. I mean, the dental unit looks beautiful. The nursing floor looks beautiful. So I think that you would more likely see as an expansion of that program, maybe partnering up again with the hospital or other group to update for a specific functionality to those buildings.
And there are some other projects in the pipeline that are going to help enhance those buildings with regard to energy and restroom upgrades and other things that are coming down the pike. And then the facilities team is doing what they can, few classrooms a year to spruce them up with new carpeting, lighting, painting, and furniture.
Thank you, Joe.
The last comment was, we have tried many times offering intramural sports and other student rec programs and get very poor turnout and response.
I think that's gonna, I don't know, I'm not the answer man to that. So I'm not gonna have an answer, but I think we should probably reinvigorate a discussion. And if we get this topic going, why not see about functionality of what does make sense? Maybe people don't want a certain part, but maybe like a sport like pickleball is something that people have an interest in. So I think maybe just taking the temperature to see which sports are more desirable makes some sense.
Yeah, the MCCAC, Massachusetts Community College Athletic Conference is the last comment in the chat. And that's it for the chat.
And if you send me some of that, or, if you want to forward, or if anyone wants to forward, this is in developmental stage. So, we will tweak as we go, as long as the architect tells us it makes sense and it's within the program.
Great.
And then the last thing I have, hopefully a little bit more on the fun side, and maybe at some point we could take a poll. I just want to thank Vonna Trudeau in one of my one-on-one meetings with her, I said, can you find some food trucks for us? So I did go to the Italian truck. They had pizza in a cone, which sounded a little different, but it was good. I tried it. And then Seafood Sam's, and she's trying to explore additional vendors coming on campus. We do have Bridgewater State College has Bridgewater State University. That shows my age. It was college when I went there. But they have a food truck that they're going to bring on campus. That may only be once a month. That's not going to be very frequent. We're trying to have 2 or 3 days in which we have a food truck. On the vending machines, I probably should back up. The reason why we're doing this is that Unidyne, because of COVID, the President Cox said, only 14% of the population's on campus. So Unidyne knows that. So they have actually submitted a letter of termination. They're moving on from their contract with us. So we will find a new vendor to replace them as we move forward and as we come back on campus. But what we're doing, and I think we're similar to many other schools, we're trying to find that bridge. How do we find the bridge to provide food for students and to provide some variety? So with that, the the vending machines that have candy have been, and candy and snacks, have been refilled in the Tilden, ground floor of Tilden, the Grossman Common cafeteria, in the science building study area, and the connector. We do have fresh food vending machines, which will be salads, subs, and things of that nature coming into the Grossman Commons and at Aviation. That is kind of a newer concept, and I would just ask people, you know, it should be kind of interesting if people want salads or things that are more fresher, that opportunity be available. Hopefully, I've been told by the end of this week, we'll have both of those up and operational, one in the Commons and one at Aviation. And then we do have for Panera has done some catering events. So we do have an arrangement with Panera, because we had Unidyne had catering events as well. So we are using Panera. And then just a final plug for Seaside Cafe. I walked by that building this morning and saw that they were up and operational. So I think I heard it was a soft opening. I hear the coffee is fabulous. I think even one of the people last week had mentioned that during one of the presentations. But the Seaside Cafe over in the connector is open. And Joe did get some water in there, so they have a greater ability to provide, I don't want to say better products, but they have an ability to provide additional.
And the hours of operation on Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m.
And that, I'm happy to take any questions on that, but that's all I have. And thank you for the indulgence of letting me kind of explore.
There's a robust conversation in the chat going on at the moment about tacos. There's a lot of
Actually,
demand for
we
tacos.
are working on Joey's Tacos. I don't know if we'll get them here, but we're working on it.
They apparently have catering this fall. They're not available, but donuts in the hole-in-one and the language and lit department every Monday morning. I don't know if you want to
people wanna
advertise that
send-
to the public.
People can send that to me and we'll research each one of those too.
Yeah. And I guess when you say the aviation facility, are you talking about the Plymouth facility?
Yes, the
airport?
Plymouth
Okay,
facility, yeah.
good, because somebody was requesting that in the chat.
That is a little bit of a remote site. They don't have any food close by. So I think we picked that because just the convenience for the students.
Yeah. So the Seaside Cafe is on campus. It's in the connector in the north and south, what was formerly known as the north and south buildings. The old habits die hard. It's not just Bridgewater State College versus University, Chris. It's also north-south building. The Wilkins connector there between the two buildings. There's a Seaside Cafe. So there are different options. Thanks very much. That was definitely an interesting conversation. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have on the agenda, the Student Government Association. I know that they're in flux at the moment, and so it's possible that there is no report, but I'll leave the space open in case somebody does have some report. I know we're at the very beginning of the year, but is there a report from the Student Government Association? Okay, I know they're in flux. We'll definitely have someone next time around. And I'm sure that they have lots of things going on. I know that they were busy meeting this summer. So we'll just stay tuned for more from them. So that brings us to the announcements. The first announcement comes from the Advantage program seeking additional participants. That would be Laura. You're up.
Hi, everyone. Laura from the Advantage program, also known as the TRIO program. So as with every semester, I am asking for your help referring students to Advantage. As many of you know, we are a comprehensive wraparound support service, and we serve students in associate degree programs, particularly if they're interested in pursuing a bachelor's degree long-term. That's sort of our focus population. So as with every semester, I'm going to tell you that we have open spots. At this time, I am looking for several dozen additional participants for the Advantage program for this year. So if I sound a little bit desperate, please send me your students. Again, we're really interested in speaking with any student who may be open to accepting help and support to help college work around their other commitments in life, help kind of navigating how colleges work, planning ahead for their future goals, and sort of the steps necessary to get to those goals. So if a student for any reason either can't be served by the program because of our federal guidelines, or they just decline services after meeting with one of us, it doesn't feel like a good fit, we will connect them to other appropriate college services. So I promise if you get a student to us, they will win. They will get something out of it. So you can refer students directly to myself, Diane Nash, Kathy Cunningham, or Ashley Symington. If students are interested, but not, ready to talk to an actual human, all of our information and the actual application on our website as well. So thank you so much in advance. I'll be hounding you again later to get students connected.
So Laura, Bill, there's a comment in the chat to please come to Bruce Riley's class.
Yes, Bill, I will be there. Send me times. Also, I'm happy to do any class visits that you wish and that you're open to. College 101 instructors, I will be bugging you later this afternoon to set those up if possible. Thank you.
Great, thanks. So next on the agenda, the new Single Parents Club, Christina Silva Simpson.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christina Silva Simpson, and I am putting together a new group for single parent students here at Four Cs. I am a single parent student myself, and there's a lot of things that our advisors, even though they are wonderful, they just can't help us with, as in, things out in the community. There's Caitlin's Closet, there are Toys for Tots, there's turkey baskets. Students have a hard time financially, I'm sure, with combating the struggles of juggling schoolwork, being a mom, the financial aspect of getting clothes, getting food, and just generally don't know what's out there in the community. Thankfully, I've been a mom for 14 years, and unfortunately, I've struggled as well. But the good thing is I now know a lot of people in the community that can help our fellow students. So I decided to put this group together and have them identify themselves. And we're going to get together, support each other, let each other know what things are out in the community. I've got a lot of things in the works for community events for parents to come to learn about new technologies. A lot of parents don't know the risks of the technologies that are available to children now. So it's going to be a lot more than just support financially and emotionally through all of this. It's going to be every aspect of parenting. So while they're here, it kind of brings the community in and brings parents together at the same time.
Wonderful, Christina. That is so wonderful to hear. It's always great when students present, and it's particularly awesome when we hear about what great clubs you guys are starting up. That's incredible. Next up is Tyler Daniels, who's going to talk to us about podcasting with WKKL.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Now, I don't know what you have and have not heard through the grapevine thus far, but well, of course, last semester I was interim general manager of WKKL as we were kind of reorienting everything. This semester, I'm no longer general manager. Lisa Zincius has graciously accepted that position. However, I am still working at WKKL as the engagement coordinator. And my main priority is going to be more or less bridging the gap between WKKL and virtually every department, every organization, every club, every affiliation within 4Cs. And so throughout the semester, I'm going to be setting up and hosting tutorial sessions for anyone who would like to learn how to make a podcast, how to conduct remote interviews, how to more or less create and produce a radio show, and then upload it remotely so we can add it to the WKKL weekly schedule. So ideally, if someone thinks his or her department would want to get in on this, feel free to designate yourself as the liaison and get in contact with me. I will set up a tutorial session. We can work around your schedule. That way I will pass on my knowledge to you. You can turn around and pass on that knowledge to your department. We are really trying to make WKKL, run by the college for the college like it used to be. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Tyler. And next up, Kathy McNamara has announcements for the College Foundation.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the semester. Christina, I just want to mention to you, I hope that you're aware of the foundation scholarships. We have several that are specifically for single parents. So please, at some point, maybe we could talk about that and we can get that information out to members of the club. I want to thank John Cox for mentioning our upcoming September 30th event. I am going to send that invitation out this afternoon to all of you. If you are able to attend, we'd love to have you. It's going to be held at the Cultural Center of Cape Cod in South Yarmouth. It is a fundraiser and a friend raiser, and we hope you might be able to join us. And as he mentioned, the foundation just wrote a check for almost $5 million to the college for the new Wilkins STEM building. Those funds are from the fundraising that have been done to date. Just to remind you, the foundation has a goal of raising $10 million for that building. The $5 million so far is fantastic. We've raised a little bit over 7 million, about 7.3 million so far. So we have a ways to go. And I just want to mention it to you because you all not only work at the college, but you live in the community. And if you know somebody who might be interested in supporting our fundraising, please let me know. You all have great contacts. A couple of people have already told me about individuals I should reach out to, but if you could make the introductions as well, that's helpful. In addition, I hope you've perhaps seen the lawn signs that are on the campus about the campaign right when you enter campus. If you would like to have one of those on your lawn, I would love to provide you with one. And if you live in a highly visible area where people would see those signs, that would be especially great. So let me know. Just shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'd be happy to get a lawn sign to you so it can be posted and you can show your support for the college and encourage others to also support our fundraising. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Next up, we have Art Esposito, who is going to talk about advising protocols and programming.
Hi, everybody. I think I just unmuted, but I also just opened a document and lost myself. Can everybody hear me? Just wave at me if you can. Yay,
Yep.
Okay, good. So I wanted to kind of check in with everybody at the start of the term just to let you know what's happening from the advising office perspective, the things that we're continuing from last year, and some general conversation about start of term case loading and such. So I'll start with the caseloads. The fall cohort of advising caseloads will be finalized by September 24th, and I'll send an email out either end of day 24th or early Monday morning to let faculty and students know that they can access their caseloads or advisors depending upon which party. Each faculty member, as usual, will have 18 currently enrolled advisees. Exceptions to that contractually agreed upon limit would be those programs that want to advise all of their students. I'm thinking of Louis Becco. Thank you, good sir. If you do want to have a larger caseload than 18 students, please speak with your dean and then email me directly and let me know what's going on. We also did this with the nursing program and a couple of the other special admissions programs. Each student that has a faculty member as their primary advisor will also have an advisor from the academic advising office as a secondary advisor. So again, this year, we're executing a truly shared model of academic advising. We have primary advisors and secondary advisors. The role of the secondary advisor is really one of supplemental support for both the student and the faculty member. I'm thinking here of periods of time when faculty, you're not on contract, or when a student starts talking with you and you find yourself advising in the margins of the map and you need a little bit of support. That's what your secondary advisor is for. So when you access your caseload on Campus Web, you'll be able to see that there is a professional advisor attached to your student as well. In those cases, feel free to reach out to the secondary advisor offline and get some input from them if you want to be the one leading out solutions to your student. Students really respect it when you say to them, You know what? I don't have the exact right answer for that, but please let me do some research and I'll get back to you on that. Another option is to deal the professional advisor in on the conversation via email or whatever, and let the three of you, the student and the secondary advisor, kind of triangulate the conversation. For our part, when your primary advisees reach out to us or find themselves in our Zoom meeting, we're again embracing the ethos that we're going to advise the student in front of us. So we'll tell them as much as we can, we'll support them in as many ways as we can, and then we'll do an informed handoff and encourage them to double check everything that we've talked about with you to make sure that we're protecting the relationship of the primary advisor in those cases. Another bit of support that we have for you, we're again executing the advising liaison program. And what that does is that connects an advisor in our office to each one of the departments and academic divisions, and the advising liaison program. This is great for those instances in which you have a question that falls outside of one-to-one advising relationships, or in instances when if your student does not have a secondary advisor. You can find those advising liaison relationships on the advisor handbook. Lisa, do I have screen sharing allowance?
Yes, you do.
Okay,
Go
so
for it.
let me see what I can do here. Screen share. Which screen am I going to do? Screen 2. So here I am on the faculty staff portal landing page. The advisor handbook is right up here in the top right-hand corner. When you click in there, you'll land on our recently redesigned advisor handbook. It's functioning very much like a blog right now. It's built on a SharePoint platform. I regularly throw news items in here. The advising liaisons, they're right here on the landing page. Other cool stuff in the advisor handbook, our documents section. We have academic maps. We're feverishly trying to update our PDF maps for the 2021-2022 academic year. We'll get them up soon, I promise. We have all the advising forms in another folder. These demo videos, these are student-facing how-to videos, really good stuff in there, walking students through accessing Campus Web and all the student self-service functionality. A whole bunch of other stuff in the documents section. We also throw some how-to videos up here, and I regularly put thought pieces into the news section. So that's the advisor handbook. I'm going to get out of the screen share now and go back to my notes to make sure that I have forgotten nothing. The last thing I want to talk with you about is the advising communications plan. We're going to do that again this year. This is something that we kicked off full force at the start of last fall, but I had been messaging students directly from our office dating back to March 2020 when we first went remote. The goal of the advising communications plan is to help students understand that advising is a year-round thing, and they can have access to any of us, whether their advisor is a faculty advisor, an advisor in our office, or a professional advisor in one of our partner offices. But the gist of it is that we issue blog posts basically in our SharePoint-based student-facing blog. We'll send a weekly communication out in odd-numbered weeks from the blog. We share that blog post via 4Cs email, on Facebook, on Instagram, even in the 4Cs app. And then in the even-numbered weeks, advisors in our office reach out to their individual caseloads and do a follow-up email and do proactive outreach to them to either amplify the things that we talked about a week ago, or to put other information into the student's life, hoping that if they stumble upon communication from us on a weekly basis, they'll start to embrace the fact that advising is a 12-month thing. If you want to toy with the idea of doing the same thing that advisors in our office do, if you want to talk about what it looks like to be reaching out and doing proactive outreach to your individual caseloads in the even numbered weeks, reach out to me and let me know. And I'm glad to have a conversation with you about it, especially if you think that this is something that will work in your personal advising praxis. The last thing I'll throw out there is that the Advising Admissions and Wellness Committee meets every month at the conclusion of college meeting. If you want to talk about any of the practical applications of advising policy or protocols, anything like that, please do feel free to join us in the AAW committee meetings. They're open. If you have time after the college meeting, jump right in. When I'm done talking here, I'll go ahead and share the Zoom meeting room. They're all in my advising Zoom meeting room, and I'll share that link in the chat. And I think that that's it. I've said all of the words now. Happy to answer questions if any of you have any.
Well, if anyone doubts that advising has been busy, I think you've put that doubt to rest.
Thanks.
I thank you so much. That is great. If no one has any questions, we've got a couple more announcements to go still. Up next is Tim Girolami wants to talk to us about the library access.
Thank you. So just speaking of being busy, I guess we got something done that we've been trying to do for a long time, which is all the library resources are integrated with Mind4Cs now. So students don't need a library card number and a PIN or a library card number or username and password for almost all of our resources. So I'm just going to quickly show on the share screen what it looks like now. And a good thing about this is hopefully, students will hopefully be able to access stuff as soon as they get linked to it or do research whenever they need to. So if you go to the library right now, all of our databases are listed under the A to Z database list. Kind of already pulled that link up. And if you're off campus like I am right now, you click on one of these links, you're going to get brought to your Mind4Cs login. And you're going to log in. And I hope this works because it was working for me earlier, but I would figure when you're doing a demonstration, it would not work.
If it's not going to work, it won't work, right?
Well, you know what? I don't know what's going on right there because it should have. Yes, I jinxed myself. Okay,
You did jinx yourself. I'm sure it works normally.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's probably because I cleared everything out and no, there it goes. I just was impatient, which I am. So I'm in, and that's it. That's all students will need to do. Log in, get in. Should make things much simpler. If you have your old links on Moodle, we really wanted to get this done before now. There were some delays. Jessica Jordan, who did lots of hard work making this happen and getting all of these links, working with our vendor that set this up, we weren't able to get it done before the semester started and get it all out to you. So your links that you have on Moodle are going to keep working this semester, unless something unforeseen happens. But we definitely encourage you all to change them if you can, because they are much better ways to send somebody to the information. You can go to this A to Z link. If it's a database, grab the link. If you need to change, like you link to something specific, like say a specific Films on Demand video, if you did it with LTI linking, that's going to keep working as well. And I wouldn't change that because that's pretty smooth as well. But if you used a link where people had to log in with the username and password, go to Films on Demand, find your video, and then save that link because it'll be different from the link that you had. It might seem like your link's working because you're logging into it or you're on campus, but you want to get the one from our page, not from the link that you used. If you need help, reach out to us. Jessica's a really good resource for that. But any of us can try to figure out any problems you encounter. And we're just really excited to have this happen, to have this done, I should say. And we know how it happened. It's not like it didn't happen, like it came out of fresh air. But anyways, I also would just a quick plug, librarians, if you want a librarian to come to your class, show how to use any of our resources, do any research, anything like that, just contact us and we'll set that up. We can come into Zoom in person. We'll be trying to do that as well. We'll have to come to your classroom. Our classroom is not useful right now. It's too small. And right now people are Zooming in it probably. So that's the other reason. And if you do have students who need Zoom space between in-person classes, the library is a good place. We were hoping to kind of give people like guarantees, but we really can't do that. So it's kind of first come, first serve. come on in and students can use it. And it's going great. We have lots of people in there. So thank you all.
Well, Tim, you're getting lots of accolades from the group. People are very excited and really enjoy. And Jessica Jordan just wrote everybody to please email her if you need help updating links. Next up, we have Kristen Trawick, who wants to talk to us about Constitution Day. I think, is Kristen there? I thought Kristen was going to talk to us about Constitution Day. Maybe she had to duck out early. Oh, here you are. Okay.
Thank you, Bill. I'll just be quick, not that it's not important. We're honoring Constitution Day Constitution Day is actually Friday, but with Yom Kippur on Thursday and a lot of people not being here on Friday, we chose with the Department of Higher Ed to honor it on Wednesday. It will be shared on 25 Live. There'll be a link, and it's anytime you want to drop in or bring your class from 10 to 3. The 3 major topics are basically immigration, the police reform bill, and voter suppression and voting history. That's what we narrowed it down to. We thought they were the most important topics at hand. Well, not the most important, but 3 of the top at hand. I have more information. We have panels, we have speakers, some pretty powerhouse speakers, moderators, and a Q&A session at the end of each session. A lot of people, like in my department in critical reading and thinking, will use it as an activity. And then I also have tacked it on a few doors around here, such as criminal justice, to see if they wanted to use that as an activity or a lesson in their classrooms. I believe it's going to be recorded, so if you can't get to it because it is just upon us, you might be able to tap back into it and use it again at a better fit for you. But look for the link and look for the flyer. I can probably show you the flyer. It's just flyer. Hold on, where's my?
Yeah, when is that link? When are you planning on sending that link out?
Well, I think it's still in live space at 25 Live. Vana was taking a peek at it today, and I think it just needs to be approved and put out there.
Yeah, I'd like to.
So basically, these are the timeframes. So they're the quick little snippets. There's a break in between here for lunch, and then this will be the link that will be out there. And you can also use the QR code once it comes out live. I can send this along to you so you have, if you want to email me, so you have this prior to it coming out on 25 Live, just so you can plan for the day. Does anyone have any questions? We don't have any speakers in this. We had so many people offer, and this is run with the Department of Higher Ed and our brother sister community colleges as well. So it's a great resource for us to be involved with this this group and the Department of Higher Ed in this capacity. Questions? Concerns?
Thank you, Kristen.
You got it. Take care.
Right. Next up, Maura Weir wants to talk about the 24/7 support line in the Wellness Center. I think she wants to go ahead and make that announcement.
Hi, folks. Welcome back. This is Maura. I just wanted to put the free 24/7 support line into the chat. You can give it directly to students yourself. We're going to try to get some cards with it on it so we can just hand it out to you to hand it to the students. So please, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If there's a student struggling or they mentioned some mental health issues or they need help navigating the services or the system, they can call this number 833-434-1217 and they can speak to a person. They can get set up with free counseling appointments, or they can get some help with navigating the services that they might need. And I just want to say have a great year and please pass it on to your students. We've had a busy week, the first week, and hopefully you'll be able to do the referral forms that are posted online on the faculty staff portal. That's all. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else have an announcement? I know that there were a couple others that may have wanted to put in some announcements. You'll have to, raise your hand using the virtual setting, not just raise your hand because I won't see you. So you'll have to use the reactions if anyone has any comments. Okay, Bill Berry.
Hi, I just wanted sorry. I just wanted to, maybe I should put my hand down. I just wanted to thank Sue Miller in front of College Meeting for stepping in and leading us through our transition for VP of Academic and Student Affairs. Thank you, Sue Miller, and I got to see you a little bit on opening day and stuff, and that was really cool. So thank you very much. That's all.
That is a very worthwhile announcement. Thank you, Bill. Any other announcements or thoughts? Kathy McCarron.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say that next week we have an opportunity to see Dr. Estella Ben-Simon, and she's a renowned expert on anti-racism, and she's going to be delivering a lecture called Leadership as an Anti-Racist Practice, and the entire campus is welcome. We'll have opening remarks by Dr. Carlos Santiago, who's the commissioner. And so I'll be sending out the email later today. So I hope you can join us.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Any other announcements? Okay, seeing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn. Do you have a second? All right. Please vote for the adjournment. All right, thank you everyone for a successful meeting. The meeting is adjourned with 69 voting yes, 2 voting no, and no one abstaining. Thanks again for a successful college meeting. See you next month.